Hello everybody and welcome back to the Gamers Addict presents Alucard's Top 5. Well, this time I'm actually not going to be doing a Top 5. We're going to do something just a little bit different today. I will be talking about two of my favorite games, which are actually Christmas related games that I adore. And by the way, Javier, I'm wearing the Santa hat, as you can tell. You can tell how enthused I am by this Santa hat because I just look so incredibly attractive with it on, don't I? Don't I? Anyways, guys, okay. One question that was asked by somebody somewhere, I think it might have been Bogy or whoever, was somebody, it was Bogy. He asked how I know about all of these rare games, like all of these indie games that I mention to you guys all the time. And again, the answer to that is a little convoluted, but I'll kind of simplify it all the way around. While most kids and most people, when they go to buy a video game, they're always looking for the top tier games. They're buying the AAA titles, pre-ordering them, picking them out. You know, you got your Spider-Mans and your Fallouts, your Battlefields, any of those huge games you're going to get. I do pre-order those myself, but I was always very interested in a lot of the niche games. A lot of people will overlook these games because they assume, well, okay, these are just little things, or they don't really hear a lot about them. They must not be that big of a deal. Only these ones that are blown up, and that's truly not the case. A lot of these indie games that people make are 10 times harder for them to get made, for them to get somebody to publish them, to get the money to make these games, and they need to find an audience. And a lot of times when I look up these different games, I'll find and I'll hear about it from like certain companies like Falcom, which has been around since the 90s, and TurboGrafx. You can look up Falcom, NIS America, you name it. I'll see these games that are coming out, and what I do is I will buy them and I will take a risk. I will spend $40 on these games, and most of the time with these games you're getting something incredible because they will put a bundle and a package together where you get like a box set with an art book, soundtrack, everything, and it'll be $40 because they just want you to play their game and they want to provide you something awesome, versus a lot of big AAA titles, you just basically get a disc with no book or anything in it, which I always thought was actually pretty lame. So a lot of the times I took the time to risk buying these games, and in the middle of doing that I ended up finding a lot of gems. On top of that, when I was a kid, my friends, you know, we would always buy games wherever we can find them, at video stores, or not just Toys R Us, but borrowing them from friends. And I just happened to always come across certain abstract games that people didn't find. So this is a lot of the ways I'm able to find these great games. I also hear them from word of mouth from other friends that I have. As of recent times, you know, sometimes I'll look up some like hidden gems or oddities that are on any given system, whether it be the Switch or, you know, I know most of them for the older systems, excuse me. And I will see if one of them sparks my interest and try it out, kind of like Fragile Dreams. I heard about it, I saw the company that made it, I saw a trailer, and I said, this game looks amazing. I did the same thing for Xenoblade, and nobody even cared about Xenoblade when it came out. It was not a big deal at the time. And when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. I grabbed the game, it disappeared, I played it, and I loved it. But you gotta be willing to be open to playing games that aren't necessarily going to be perfect, but they're going to be beautiful or unique, and in some cases they actually will be quite perfect. That's really the main way that I go about doing that. So, you know, word of mouth, look up these different companies. You can check out different lists that are online, you know, underrated gems, stuff like that. And most of all, when you have some extra money, if you see something that looks interesting, you know, as opposed to waiting for a review or anything, just go ahead and give it a try sometime. Screw what everybody else thinks, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much how I generally find a lot of these rare games that I'm able to talk to you about, and I have a whole buildup of them from when I was a kid to now of all the ones I bought. Now, other than that, for today, I wanted to talk about two games, and these are two Christmas-related games that are incredibly different, and they are two of my favorite games. I'm going to start out with number 2, and then I'll lead to number 1, which is my ultimate favorite. My first one, you guys are going to be like, wait, what are you talking about? For Christmas style games, it's going to be Blue Stinger on the Sega Dreamcast. Blue Stinger. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this or played this, but when this game came out, it was a huge deal. This was one of the first survival horror games that had fully 3D backgrounds, unlike the pre-rendered backgrounds you get from things like Resident Evil and such. This game did very well. It was a launch title for the Dreamcast, and it was absolutely amazing. I can't explain this game to you. Take a B-rate movie, mix it with a giant budget, add lots of blood, weirdness, quirkiness, the voice acting in it's quite hilarious, their mouth movements. It is one of these games that is hard to explain without you checking it out. How is this a Christmas game? Well, when you start playing this game, which has nothing to do with Christmas when you start, you are on this island and you end up running into this huge area where there's nothing but Christmas music playing, there's posters, Santa, everything everywhere, but the gist of it is you're in a horror game, and that's what makes it freaking hilarious. So while you're running around and you're killing all these creatures and all these things are happening, and I'm not going to go into the story of this game, you end up shooting all of these enemies, and coins disperse out of their bodies everywhere. So it's this beautiful light theme Christmas. You can even get a Santa hat and put Christmas outfits on these characters. Really light music where you think you're going to be in this very light-hearted game, and it kind of is. And then next thing you know, you are shooting up all these enemies and they're exploding all over the place, and it is just hilarious and perfect. Not to mention the fact that when you kill the enemies and they disperse into coins, that's how you get your money to buy more weapons. Not going to say much more about it, but Blue Stinger is one of my top favorite games on the Sega Dreamcast. Alrighty guys, now we're going to go to number 1. This game, oh my god. I know I look like such a dork and a baby saying this, but this game made up my childhood right into my adulthood. I absolutely freaking adore it. It is one of the most beautiful, lovely, wonderful games I've ever played, and it is the pinnacle of my childhood, and it should be everybody's childhood. And this game that I want to talk about, my friends, is Nights into Dreams. And of course, Christmas Nights, the DLC. That's right. Think about that. DLC all the way back in the 32-bit era? That wasn't a thing. Well, for Sega, it absolutely was a thing. They decided after they put out the original Nights into Dreams that they were going to give us an expansion that you can play as its own disc. You didn't even have to have the original game. All you had to do was buy a magazine and you got it in there for free. What can I say about these games? Well, let me just give you a little bit of information really quick. The creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, our favorite ones, 1, 2, 3, all of them pretty much, up till Adventure, was at a period where he wasn't exactly working on Sonic games. They were on the Sega Saturn. There was a lot of frustrations going on. They weren't able to get a 3D Sonic game out right away, and they needed something to hold off until they can get to Sonic the Hedgehog. So he had a genius plan, again the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, that he was going to make another game idea he had, and that was Nights into Dreams. And what I want to say about this game is it's not just every bit as good as Sonic was, but it is, to me, one of the best games he has ever created in his life. When you think about Nintendo, you tend to think about Mario, or you're going to think about Zelda, Kirby, or what have you. Well, when I think about Sega, and especially during Christmas time, I think about Nights into freaking Dreams. One fact that I want to say about this game is that they did an interview with Miyamoto, and he actually said that after playing the game, he wished he had come up with the idea because he thought it was absolutely magical, and that's coming from him. This game is brilliant. So let me go ahead and get started and try to talk about this game a little bit. I first played it when I was a kid. I was probably about 13 years old. I did not get a Sega Saturn, sadly, no. I had a PlayStation, which was freaking awesome, but I wanted to play it, so I went over to my friend's house and he had a copy of this game. And I got on there and I played it, and I was just like just gone, lost, like, oh my god, this is something I absolutely have to have. The story follows teenagers Clarice and Elliot who enter Nightopia. It is a dream world where all dreams take place, and basically with the help of knights, they are going through this world to ultimately defeat the evil wise men. Ooh. That is the basic story of the game. So you're going between the real world and you're going between the dream world, but the dream world is a very real thing, and there is a lot of enemies, a lot of different bosses, and it is unbelievable. So you have these two characters who are going to help knights by saving the world of dreams, basically. And they both have their own separate, Nightopia, and they both have their separate issues in real life, which you see in the opening cutscenes of this game. The story of it is awesome, but where the game really gets amazing is the gameplay. Actually, where it gets amazing is everything in this game. Let me actually, before I go to the gameplay, start out with the music. The music in this game is so uplifting and beautiful that you could have never played this in your life, and you're going to somehow feel nostalgic while playing this game. Every time I hear the music of the game, it actually drops like a little tear down my face. The gameplay of the way it works is it's a flying game. Now, I wish I would have broke out the controller for you guys. I really should have, but too late. It's one of the original 3D controllers, you know, kind of like the Nintendo 64, except for it's a pad. It's shaped like this, and you have an analog stick, and it came packed in with Nights into Dreams, and it was perfect analog movement for flying her, because the whole game is flying in this beautiful world, and it is seamless. When you're flying, you're going through a set of different hoops, and you're doing acrobatic tricks, running around. You could go down and like hatch eggs for the little like nightmares that are still not nightmares, what are they called? Nighttopians that are on the bottom, and it is so fluid and beautiful and perfectly controlled and endless fun. You're trying to get the highest score you possibly can as you're going through each stage, and at the end of I think 3 levels of each area you end up fighting a boss, and all the bosses in this game are beautiful and genius as well. The graphics are cartoony and beautiful. Everything about the game really comes together in a full package, but the biggest thing about this game is it has heart. When you play this game, you can feel that they really put a lot of love and time and effort into this game. Until this very day, it really brings me back to my childhood and makes me reminisce. And I feel that if you haven't played this game, guys, do it. Pick up Nights into Dreams, pick up Christmas Nights, and get out there and try these games, because they will literally change your life. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't even know what to go into. Is there anything you want to say about this game, other than your absolute obsession of it? Anything?
I have some high scores.
Yeah, you do. She does have some high scores. She actually got really, really lost in this game. Now, really quick, one thing I do want to mention. If you don't own a Sega Saturn and you're like, I can't play these games, they made an HD version of this game with pretty much all the original content, and it is amazing. You can get it on the PS3 and I believe the Xbox 360. And one last thing I want to mention is Sonic the Hedgehog is actually in this game too. So really, really, really cool stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to go on forever, guys, but yeah, this is my pick for my favorite Christmas game of all time, and that's about it. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions or anything, please post them down below. Please continue to support the Gamers Attic, because Javier and Bogy and One Man Band and every single person that is on that show kicks butt, and they are awesome. I'm so happy to be a part of it. Thank you so very much for watching, and as always, my friends, until next time.